Hello everyone, and welcome again to the next episode of Justice to Free. I hope that last video I posted wasn't too poor. It seems my editor was slacking off on the job, so this time I hope to bring you a full-out experience on this week's episode. In this new year, my target is to gain at least 1,000 subscribers and to bring you the best in Zelda theories. I know my last video had a few flaws, but as I said, I'm still new at this. I haven't got many ideas for the other Zelda games yet, so I'll continue on my Breath of the Wild series, only this time I'll be exploring evidence instead of coming up with theories. This is part 3 to my Breath of the Wild series. When placing Breath of the Wild on the timeline, it's extremely important that we consider the placement of certain locations, in particular, Hyrule Castle. But before we go into that, let's review Hyrule's history. Before Minish Cap, Hyrule Castle didn't even exist, so we have to assume that it was built in between the events in Minish Cap and the era of Chaos. So let's fast forward a bit to whenever the castle is built and the events in Four Swords takes place. The castle still remains standing, and even if we fast forward even more to after the Hyrulean Civil War and the events in Ocarina of Time, Hyrule Castle still stands. Remember all this as I advance into the video. The Kingdom of Hyrule has stood for years and years, beginning its existence after the era of Chaos, and has seen many conflicts, being nearly ruined in Minish Cap and having survived the Hyrulean Civil War. But are the castles the same? The only way to find that out is to compare the maps of the games. Looking at the geography in the area surrounding the castle, we quickly find that, despite their major differences in styles, Hyrule Castle appears to be in the same location in Hyrule. However, there are still some flaws with this idea, such as the placement of Gerudo Desert being in the southwestern quadrant of the Four Swords map, and Lake Hylia being in the eastern quadrant of Minish Cap's map. But for now, I'll dismiss that as just an oversight that the game developers didn't think about. This same castle stands as a great landmark in Ocarina of Time. And then this castle, which has stood since the foundations of Hyrule, is suddenly destroyed in the 7-year tyrannical rule of Ganondorf, leader of the Gerudo. Perhaps he was trying to seek revenge for Hyrule's misplacement of Gerudo Desert and the maps for Four Swords. As Link walks through Hyrule Town Market, it is in total ruin, and what's more, he goes to check the castle only to find out that not only is it destroyed, but that there's a huge pit filled with some form of magma with a huge levitating fortress above it. Ganon's Tower. This may be old news, but for me and most other theorists, reviewing the facts is the only way to gain the trust and support of an internet audience when sharing your ideas and theories. A certain amount of proof must be given before an idea or theory is accepted, so we try our best to provide any proof you acquire. Now, it has been impossible to place Breath of the Wild in the timeline until we saw the Game Awards trailer. This gave us more than just a few articles of evidence to prove the timeline placement. It practically confirmed that Breath of the Wild would be in the child timeline. From the fountain to the castle itself, all these things point to the child timeline. But is that the end of the story? This video is for you theorists out there. Watch carefully as I relate to you these important facts for all of us to see. Everyone says that there isn't enough evidence to prove it's in the child timeline, but soon you'll see something not many have thought about. In order to prove it's either in the adult or downfall timelines, we'd have to find the ruins of one of the other castles, and more importantly, find evidence of Ganondorf's reign in Ocarina of Time, because Hyrule Castle was destroyed in Ocarina of Time and would remain destroyed in all the timelines except the child timeline, in which its destruction was a different tale. In the Downfall timeline, Hyrule Castle was moved to a more central location in Hyrule. In the child timeline, it was destroyed and moved more up north than the previous one, and in the adult timeline, it would seem that it may have been rebuilt. But we don't know that for sure. However, 2 out of these 3 timelines should have one thing the other shouldn't: the ruins or remains of Ganon's Tower. Remember, it would be destroyed in previous events in the Downfall and adult timelines, but in the child timeline, it never happened. When placing Breath of the Wild in the timeline, we must consider the presence of either the other Hyrule castles and Ganon's Tower, and until these ruins or remains are found, we must continue to place Breath of the Wild in the child timeline for the time being. Through the years, both Hyrule Castle and Ganon's Tower have served as iconic landmarks which we have all come to know and love. Behind its strong walls, we have fought, struggled, and endured the harshest of game overs, enemies, and beeping hearts a gamer will ever experience. I don't think that we take enough time out to appreciate these locations and how important they are to the series and to the game experience. We should all take into consideration that this series would not be the same without these key locations. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. With your love and support, I hope to make this a clean and reliable channel for all to watch. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will be back next week to talk about the theme song of Breath of the Wild. Have a blessed week and a happy new year.